Talk about some StarCraft 2 again. Semi-finals of today's ESL Open Cup Europe, number 108. We start in the upper right-hand side. It is our red Protoss player, Storm Gaming's MaxPax. Bottom left, our blue Terran player from Team Liquid is Clem. He's already got an SUV right across the map. What a way to start the series, Clem. Just going to show us a little bit of aggression here, apparently. And so you drop that barrack straight down. Just going to get this off to the side. I do have the probe heading now down to the bottom of the map over here. So just getting this up and running. Probe hops on in, obviously scouting around, going to notice no barracks. Now the question from MaxPax is, can he figure out what this is? Does he, obviously, possibility of, is it just hidden like slightly nearby, or is it actually like a full-on, proxy, which it is in this case. Let's see how MaxPax copes with what will be a very fast Reaper coming out from Clem very early on. Hey, as we just got this started, Deja Enigma, thank you so much for the 16-month resub on the Prime. Thank you very much, as we do have Probe. It's actually going to, SUV, sorry, is actually going to get that bunker going in this little gap here, so getting the bunker up and running, trying to keep the SUV on one side. Now the Zealot is on the other side, while the bunker probably doesn't get up. But still looking pretty reasonable otherwise, as we just have the Zealot popping out. Now the Reaper hopping into the main base, and this is going to come through and definitely find a little bit of damage here, if nothing else. Going to get, not quite that one probe just yet, so that probe does escape away for the moment. Now we get that probe kill. That's going to be napping away at the Zealot a little bit and dealing a little bit of extra damage. Warp gate coming through, and just going to have our probe. Going to go chase that SCV slightly. Another SCV will pull in and fight the probe a little bit. Hit it back and forth, continuing. Counts is still just on the way up. The Warp gate is coming through. We actually do get a pylon across the map. This is actually kind of could have been a big deal, right? It does block the factory from relocating a little bit for the reactor, I think. I think you can't just move and put the reactor in the wall. No, he can. It doesn't block him at all. In that case, the pylon just provides vision. It lets you know what's going on over in that base. Right now, you know the factory is built in the tech lab. For a moment, I was like, well, if he gets a battery up here, is there something wild? No, it really is just about scouting more than anything else. Blink is coming through and just going to be obviously seeing MaxPax into that then for his initial tech. It's a pretty late initial tech. I mean, we're going to be talking about, what, like 5-6 minutes by the time we've got that Blink up and online. The two Reapers hopping up, and the Adept going to go and chase those down. The Adept does jump over there, and that Reaper gets picked off. And now hopping down to the low ground. Still just seeing the Blink Corona boosting away on the Twilight Council. So that's continuing up, and just going to be having our Raven coming into play. On the side of Clem, a pretty typical move. Of course, he's not 100% sure of what he's up against, and he's got to play in a pretty cautious manner, right? He knows it's a Twilight, but he doesn't know if it's Blink, Dark Shrine, so he's going to get the Raven. It covers you pretty well in, most regards when you're playing against a Twilight opener. If there's a DT Shrine, then it helps you there. If it's just Stalkers and so on, then Raven is still nice for harassing. It's not going to get shot down by Phoenix while it harasses, or it can just be part of the army. Typically, if you go Blink, the next step is either Charge Lots or Colossi. Well, if it's Colossi, you've got Matrixes on the Raven. If it's a higher Zealot and kind of gateway count, then hitting those anti-armor missiles can really allow you to shred through those units a lot better. Forge will drop into the main base there, so just getting that across over that side. A couple of gateways I'm going to set up and just going to be having a couple of extra gates coming through. And that up and running as our engineering base building on the side of Clem. This nation will loop around into the main here and is just going to go and fire a couple shots off at the Raven. Obviously, hallucinations don't deal damage, but they can be, you know, I like to think that the hallucination puts a bit of fear in the Raven. The Raven's like, oh my god, if this was a real Phoenix, I'd be dead right now. Obviously not quite the case. Yeah, I mean, as Clem just goes into his Fallen Bioforce, he's got that CC moving out as well, and it's not overly aggressive from MaxPax either, right? A few Stalkers just looking at the front, basically keeping an eye as to what's going on. And that's kind of about it. A couple extra racks on the natural, and the Cyclone will lock onto a Stalker here, and that Stalker gets pushed away. Ooh, that nearly went down. A couple Stalkers as well as we do lock onto the Observer. Observer gets taken out. And just going to be seeing our Stalker sat here, blocking that Reaper from getting into the natural expansion. So we'll not be able to move in with that one. He's going to have the Reaper jumping up into the main base instead. Into the main we go as we fire a shot off, and just going to see some extra Stalkers warping in on the Nat, and now the Reaper going to back away. Was going to back away down the right side, hops back up into the main base and into the natural as well. Prism about to pop, and that's obviously some good info. Ooh, if he saw it. That's just good to roughly know that that is the situation, though, of course, and I'm just going to be seeing our Stalker will tap that Reaper a little bit. Stalkers across the map are just going to be into a siege tank, though, so there's not really much to be gained here, and the Bioforce even going to stim across to scare it away. That group of Stalkers do get pushed out of here, so we'll not be able to do all that much for the moment. Just going to still see our 1-1 upgrades coming into play. Marine Marauder still coming through. The next step here really is from Clem. As Medivacs take to the field, how much does he want to drop? How aggressive can he be without putting himself in danger? It's all well and good dropping, but you don't want to go throwing your units away into, you know, blinking Stalkers and so on. But if you can get a couple drops on the map and maybe move out with the main army at the same time, it's going to give him a lot of opportunity. Clem should be able to have a pretty good time with this, as a group of Zealots on the left side lift into the Prism. It's actually a good spot from Clem. He's actually going to go for the Prism, and oh, he didn't target fire at the end. He continued to hit the Zealot. I think he could have had that. The Prism just flew back into those Marines off camera, so the Prism did just die. So the Prism having gone down, Clem is able to do very well here, because he's... Okay, now he's starting to lose some SCVs, but otherwise, I mean, he should just be able to clean this up. MaxPax's supply is in the gutter, by the way. I mean, completely. 30 army supply against 70. Losing the Prism kind of sucks, but just in general, Clem is in a pretty great spot. He's killing probes across the map, too. The Raven in play. Auto turret's working over there, so the Raven's picked up 6 kills itself. And, well, Clem's just going to take this army and take it across the map, and I think that's probably just going to end the game, quite frankly, because MaxPax just does not have a lot. He lost a lot very ineffectively over the last couple moments, and Clem's just going to come across. Look how much he lost here. This army fight was horrible at the front as well while the Prism was being chased around, and obviously MaxPax just caught in a bad moment and getting very flustered very quickly, you know? Definitely was part of the problem, I would say, is Zealots wanting to charge forward with the mines pouring up, and the Bio Army just coming across, aiming for this Nexus on the right side. Stalkers pushing down, and the Marine Marauder will try and push those Stalkers back. Nexus will be cancelled. A couple of probes go down as well. We have got the army of MaxPax up the top, moving around a little bit. Water mines going off. Stalkers having to blink away. I'm going to move fully to the left-hand side here. Stalkers moving up the top side. A couple of Water mines will be burrowing up Bio Army. I might not be able to push in here. The couple of Colossi being out, I don't think this is a position you go into. Water mines over here, dealt with by MaxPax. Unburrow and reburrow on one, though. Now out down this bottom side, Clem going to be coming pushing along. Couple mines, Bioforce. Out over the right and just going to be pressing in. Just going to go and grab the gateway. Cybercore taking damage. It's going to be seeing a couple of Widowmine shots going off, and the army here from Clem is going to get force fielded a little bit. Still unable to really find an opening then, Clem. Across the map, not able to make his way into his opponent's bases at all just yet. MaxPax at the very least being able to do a good job of keeping him out of these. Well, we do have the Orc's going to get knocked down. Clem has a fusion core on the way too, by the way, so he's thinking about the idea of moving into libs. And he's maxed out against 130 supply. One thing, the last time I casted Clem MaxPax was in the... I don't know if it was the last time. One of the last times was in the WardiTV European League. And Clem lost a game from pretty far ahead. And when they played in a rematch, it was a really funny situation as 6 more probes go down off camera. It was a really funny situation where Clem played so overly cautious, in fact, that it was almost ridiculous, you know? Like, it was completely crazy, the fact that, it was completely crazy. He was like, he was so far ahead, but just refused to ever attack, and this is kind of remind me of this, because this is a severe lead, right? I mean, this is an army which is very bad for MaxPax. I mean, Disruptor is scary, the Colossi are scary-ish, but obviously you see a couple of EMPs go down, and this force basically begins to melt already. Let's see how Bioforce is hanging out up here. Another Disruptor shot firing through. Will not connect. The Vikings are going to turn back around and chase down a little bit of this. That Disruptor goes down. Just going to be seeing the gateway picked off. Another EMP going down as well as the Vikings going to get a shot or two off on the Colossus. Disruptor doesn't quite land. I mean, it's keeping Clem back. At this point, Clem... Oh, actually move commands up there. That's a mistake. At this point, Clem must have a lot of units elsewhere on the map as well, right? Like, he's just got a lot at home, or... I guess a lot in production. I mean, it doesn't look like he's on a... You know, the 60 supply lead that he is, of course, 22 of that supply is in probes, which is kind of phenomenal in its own right. A couple of Widowmines cleaned out by Disruptors. And Clem is doing, you know, what he needs to do as well. He's keeping MaxPax away from a 4th base. If MaxPax can't take a 4th base, he can't sustain himself in this game. So, definitely a factor as well. Disruptor shot here will not quite land. We're going to turn around once more. Another Disruptor shot, not quite reaching across just yet. I mean, most importantly, though, that base goes down. You can see the Vikings, they kind of want to just give themselves up to get the Colossus. They get one and they get an Observer. Well, a lot of low HP Vikings now as one Colossus remains. The problem is when this Colossus goes down, there's no constant damage output on this Bio Army anymore. It's just the Disruptors pushing you back every so often. Well, another Disruptor shot fires through. A couple of Marines and a Marauder going to catch it. Another Disruptor shot flying in. Doesn't quite land either, as we do see Disruptor after Disruptor continue to fire across, and just going to see these couple of Zards picked off. These Stalkers taking hefty damage. Force going to come back up the ramp, and again, eventually, Clem is going to push through. I mean, he was just very far ahead off the initial defense that he made for himself. Puts himself up into it in the bottom left-hand corner. The red Terran player from Team Liquid. This is Clem. And the top right, blue Protoss is MaxPax. Second map, Clem leads 1-0 in this semi-final best of 5. Bitter Nash's big old map here, definitely one where you can survive on a lot of bases as the Protoss. That 4-base setup especially is particularly strong. Robot down the bottom. It's getting through. So he comes in, grabs a probe. Funka just coming out the back. Nexus coming up. Reaper is going to come across the map here from Clem. Try and get some harassment going on the back of this Nexus. Popping out. Adept going to take some shots. Just going to be seeing our Twilight Council going to be finishing up soon. It's kind of annoying. I mean, the Reaper shouldn't be able to kill the Adept with the battery coming in. The problem is, because it's an Adept first, it doesn't really do much damage to the bunker. Stalker would have been a lot better than Adept into Stalker. So it just leaves you that kind of weird situation. This is kind of the problem with not having seen it super early as MaxPax. And actually, you know, a lot of energy off that battery immediately, as the Adept was obviously low from the initial shots. Now the Reaper hitting that Adept once again here. Stalker Adept continue to ping away a little grenade, extra damage, and we are generally getting to the point where this battery's out of energy, and if you can force a super battery, that's obviously pretty huge, right? I don't think you're going to force it now. He is going to target a probe, though. The battery has just got enough energy left in it to save again. Heads up to the high ground there, and for the moment, that's going to be the end of this, well, should be the end of this pressure. The Reaper going for a little bit more, but not quite going to get there. And it's fully walled out of this, but it gets the scout at least, as now Super Battery is forced by the Hellions, and that's actually a huge deal. Well, probes going down, and I mean, again, at least you minimize the effect of the Hellions so far. We're setting up into a Widow Mine drop behind this. Let's see then. A couple of Hellions will obviously keep the pressure up at the front and keep a bit of vision, keep an eye on a third base potentially coming down, as otherwise it is kind of this Widow Mine drop moving in, and let's see what MaxPax's response will be. Yeah, I guess the probes pulled pretty quickly. Bang, bang, and 3 probes go down, and the Medivac will get shot down, but these Stalkers, yeah, one of them is going to go down, and oh no, the probes are stacked! 10 probes getting killed. I mean, that's just not nice. That was unnecessary at the end, especially. And, you know, it was, what, 7 extra workers on that final Widow Mine, and just believed he could kill it. It was a misjudgment from MaxPax. And it cost him pretty severely at the end of the day, so costing him pretty heavily there. We do see this Prism sieging up, and Stalkers collect on the left side. Extra Stalkers warping in as well. MaxPax looking to make a play, maybe up into the main or so in these next few moments. And we go, blinking up, and just going to grab themselves an initial medevac there. So, well, this is what MaxPax is committed to. 4 gates of Blink Stalkers. If he doesn't do enough damage with this right now, he's in some serious trouble. Clem shouldn't have had this depot lowered, though. He should have. I think he could have probably gotten this lifted up as well. Because when you blink on top of the tank, that's obviously a nice blink. But I don't think Clem should ever let the Stalkers then get to the low ground. I think he should have them trapped in the main base and force the Prism Micro to get out, because then he's going to get a lot more kills. MaxPax is doing decently for kind of needing to do damage to get back in this game. 11 SCVs killed, and all of these SCVs not mining. Clem still comes out, though, on a worker lead, which is obviously usually meant to be in the Protoss' favor, so not ideal in the slightest. These Stalkers coming through. Widow Mine is going to rally up and get a little shot off. Another Widowmine going to fire. Oh no, blink from MaxPax, so he loses a Stalker. MaxPax not quite playing his best game at the moment, as we do see the Stalkers continue to get pushed backwards. And just going to be seeing this Bioarm continuing to chase on in. Stalkers continuing to blink out into the middle of the map. Prism chased away to that left-hand side. And, well, that will be that. As that comes to a close, that aggression, I do think we get into a position now where, I mean, maybe these Stalkers can do a bit more. They hop up into the main. Clem was still kind of focused on the natural fully. He had a few units in the main, but not enough. They'll lose one refinery, and if nothing else, this is great for MaxPax and stopping Clem from going across the map. If Clem can't go across the map, kills... Actually, didn't kill out Stalker, it survived. Nice pickup. It's, yeah, I mean, it just stops Clem from coming across the map and attacking. And the more you stop Clem from attacking, the better it's going to be. Little Stalker's coming down. SCV's being picked away. A couple Marines and Marauder coming across, chasing that Prism out up the left-hand side. The Stalker's on the bottom. SCV's going to be hit by the counterattack, but I mean, this is very much so MaxPax saying, I have no hope of defending at home, so let's just hope I can do enough damage over here and maybe hold you off over on the other side. So we're taking a little bit more damage. Warp Gate is about to drop, and just going to be seeing another DT warping in. I mean, maybe that's his plan, right? You do enough across the map, you force Clem to drop down mules because he's afraid of what's going on, and then you have DTs and he doesn't have scans, but he does have scans. And that's the thing, at least he had a lot of energy over here, and he still does have some energy, but he's dealing with those DTs as well. He's lost 22 SCVs, but he's got 58 army supply to 8. He's got a 50 army supply lead. He just needs to get rid of the Dog Templar. This one slipped out of range of the scan on the last hit point. Wow, what a save on this DT. It just about survives. Bio moving into the natural, though. I mean, again, more DTs warping in here. I just don't think you ever get enough done. Especially as well, he doesn't actually get the turret up on the low ground. We're 15 energy away from the next scan. I actually think Clem should just lift up these units, and I understand he wants to try and shut down some of the production and stuff, but maybe just trying to lift and preserve these units more so than anything else. Yeah, I mean, just drop over there. The DT's walked away. That's fine. Get some extra probes. Didn't think he had to be quite as all out as he was being. Yeah, he's killed a lot of probes at this point in time as well. He's actually up by 10 workers or so. He's going to see the bio coming through. I was going to see the 2 medivacs out up the top side, a couple of Widowmines inside of it, and I'm going to go boosting across. DT out down to the bottom, and just still seeing the Stalkers and the Archon hanging up on the top side. We do have the Nexus sat on the left of this as well, and just going to be seeing our Widowmine drop, heading in to try and grab a couple of these probes. Perhaps drops down one mine, and a couple probes back away. He's going to look to drop down the other. Let's see this army of Clem now pushing up the left-hand side of DT. Gonna go and chase it along. A couple of probes haven't fallen here, and well, scan goes down. Again, DTs are going to be one of the only ways you could potentially save this, if at all, as MaxPax. And Archon is decent, but the Widowmine on it will help a lot, and I'm pretty sure this is just going to be way too much, right? Sentries, Stalkers all going down, being chased away in full, and it looks as though this is just going to be GG's. Clem is going to take a 2-0 lead in this best of 5. Got a little bit crazy toward the end there, but Clem just in too much control, too much early damage. In the bottom right-hand corner, our red Protoss player from Storm Gaming, it is MaxPax. Down by 2, And looking to hopefully bounce back here and get his feet back on level ground. In the top left, our Blue Terran player is Clem. Alright, well, Clem, obviously a couple of games to play with here, essentially, if you would like to. See what sort of an approach he takes in this map number 3. Just been mixing up a little bit throughout the game so far. And, well, an early SCV looking to engineering bay block this game. Probe was just down on the low ground as well. Comes back to the high ground, and now the engineering bay goes down. It's kind of unfortunate for MaxPax. I'm pretty sure he just fully believes there is not going to be an engineering bay there. He's going to place a cyber core. He's not really going to do anything about this, and oh, that's kind of painful. No, it's kind of painful indeed. I mean, that really just sucks. There's no two ways about it. He's just gonna go say, when he sees it, he's just like, okay, I'll put my nexus on the third base location. But what are you talking about this being Berlingrad? It's already a very short map. So now you're playing on a very short map with a horrible position. I mean, you don't want to be playing like this. I mean, you're gonna have your third in so much trouble. I cannot imagine how this is meant to be good for you. Not in the slightest. I mean, Clem just puts his own CC on the high ground. He says, I don't want to take any risks just in case you're being super aggressive or anything. You know, I don't want to, be involved, and I just want to take my high ground CC. I'm happy to have delayed your natural, and we can just play it from here, you know. Nexus coming in at the front and just getting that set up then. I mean, I feel like Clem, he can see, he goes into the 2 Reapers into the 2 Reapers into what will be the 3 racks in total. It's becoming a pretty popular build, the double Reaper into 3 racks. It's becoming more and more popular over time for sure, so yeah, kind of interesting to see it be so popular. Idea is obviously with 2 Reapers coming in at this kind of a timing, you're able to catch your opponent a little bit off guard. You're able to do, a fair amount of damage because of that, and then obviously the 3 racks is that much more powerful. When you don't get much done with these Reapers, though, it does put you into this little bit of a weirder position, because now you've committed into these Reapers, they didn't do much, and that commitment does slow down your overall 3 racks play. So now your overall 3 racks is that little bit worse than it would have been if this was just pure Marine production. So, ways to think about it, he is now starting to get some damage done, though, across the map, and 2 probes going down, and he's actually going to get himself a 3rd as well. No, he's targeting the wrong one. Okay, there we go, number 3. This Reaper started to regenerate. It might have been able to stick around in that, honestly, as the Oracle comes through. Just going to get rid of a couple SCVs, so a couple of workers starting to go down. A reasonable amount of damage being done. We do have the Oracle back around the other side here as well, and just going to be seeing if it can get anything else done itself. Yeah, I mean, MaxPax ahead by 6 workers, kind of where he should be, not too far ahead. Within reach of Clem. Stem and combat shields will be done soon. We'll see how Clem does going across the map. Remember, it's a short rush distance onto a base that's much more open than usual, and you don't have to go up any ramps to get there. I'm very interested into how MaxPax survives this. I do not think this is going to be easy. Not impossible, but absolutely not easy, right? Not in the slightest. Oracle comes in, a few Marines coming across, and we'll just chase that Oracle out of here. So Oracle gets pushed away pretty much straight away. Marines and the Marauder coming down, and Just having ourselves the +1 attack upgrade coming out from Clem 2. This Oracle flew straight up the center, and the Marines and Marauders went left and right of him, so I think MaxPax, oh, that was impressive. I mean, that was like threading the needle. Oracle went straight through the center of everything. Genuinely impressive as the Bio Army presses across here and will be coming to the front and saying hello to those first few Stalkers and the Sentry. Just a couple of units warping in, a couple extra Stalkers coming into play, and just going to be seen in the end. Clem does back it up, so yeah, I mean, MaxPax just built a lot of units, made sure there was no way Clem could say, oh yeah, I should definitely attack into this, right? He made it a difficult choice for Clem, and that's what dissuades him from committing into that attack, and hence pulling back and just now sitting back at home, waiting for +1, waiting for concussive shells, medevacts, all these things which will continue to make his army that much better over time. That one Stalker is continuing across, chasing down a couple of Marines there. Yeah, they're still on the map. If they could have found a little counter-attack in for some damage, that would have been great. Clem didn't even stim his units there, so that's nice, preserving some of the medevac energy from the medevacs when they spawn. They don't immediately have to heal up a ton of units. And Clem is just going to be confident enough to put his third down right in position here, so there's going to be a bit of a fight. I mean, at some point, Clem likely is going to have to commit to a stim to keep these Stalkers back, but apparently not. MaxPax is the one that just says, okay, I get it. I'll leave you alone. I'll back it up. You know, you have your space, I'll have mine then. My army continues to the bottom right-hand side, and we'll just be seeing these set of rocks here, taking some shots as well. A few Zealots continuing off in a couple of different directions. Put the rocks down, and it's kind of interesting. I really feel like Clem attacking kind of up in this direction makes this a lot more complicated than it ever needs to be. No charge yet. Makes it scary for MaxPax, but he's going to have Guardian Shield, and Clem thinks twice about really committing in there, decides it is just not worthwhile. And to be fair, it really, I don't think, is worthwhile either. Little counterattack slowing down his third from building. I suppose you look at this, and Clem just kind of dragging himself further and further ahead. And where's MaxPax even going? You know, we see no Robo Facility, we see no Robo Bay. There is just no kind of later game plan of action at the moment. Right? There's absolutely nothing here. There's absolutely nothing going on. 10 probes go down across the map to the Widow Mine drop. Oh, this is rough. MaxPax has, he's losing workers. He's got no tech. I actually don't know what MaxPax's plan is. I really don't. Dark Shrine to basically try and make the game a little bit chaotic once again, and just, you know, try and win out in a chaotic situation. I mean, I don't know what else you can possibly be looking for right now. That's pretty much all you've got. So, as much as it sucks to say it, I mean, I do kind of feel like we're seeing a MaxPax that's kind of just dying in this semi-final. He is absolutely not putting up the fight I was hoping he would be able to. Fire Force coming up the right side. A few of these Stalkers and Sentries will take some shots, and you can see Clem's army chasing down a couple of those Sentries, doing good there. And it's going to be seen across the map. There is going to be a pretty decent-sized Zealot counterattack, so it's going to come in for some damage, but not sure it's going to make the difference because you still have just so much going on this side. I mean, this group of Zealots are going to go down. Clem will deal with this. He loses 11 SCVs. You know, maybe I'm being overly critical. I mean, with the SCVs dying, MaxPax definitely gets into a better position once again. So the position definitely improves. I guess what I'm wondering about next is, even if his position improves, he still just doesn't have splash. Now, he's obviously got the DTs coming up. They could become Archons as well if you want some splash damage. I guess let's see what the DTs can do. Clem just dropped 2 mules, by the way. So you see on the low ground is burning as well. First scan goes down the natural. This base actually is the base that probably needs to drop a scan. So he actually just used it already. Okay, well, DTs will at least buy MaxPax time and give him another shot in this game, which was not necessarily a given not so long ago. Let's see, this Bioforce now going to come straight on through, stimming against the Stalkers. I mean, there still isn't really an army that can properly fight here over time. That's my big issue. MaxPax, the DTs can cause chaos, but you still have to somehow create the fights that are going to actually win you this game at some stage. And like I said, I'm just not sure if that is a factor or that is something which will happen here. So, I guess we wait for more info on that. Extra Zealots warping out the front of the third base. The SCVs will come in and repair up that orbital command. I'm just going to see MaxPax out the left-hand side with this group of Zealots. I'm going to go charging through. A couple of Marines get picked off. Get taken out pretty easily. And that'll be the cleanup there for the moment. What's still coming through. Stasis Wall at the front is going to catch a ton of units. That's a massive play from MaxPax. Oh, this is interesting now, because Clem may not want to fight into that position. So how do you save these units? Well, MaxPax is actually going to go chasing the other portion of this army away. Not really giving Clem much of a choice as to what's going on, in fact. And yeah, now these units on the other side from Clem, as they pop back out, they're just immediately going to be surrounded by Protoss units. And here it is right now. Clem actually is going to kind of get them back to his main force, somehow making this work. SCV's going down on the third base, and credit to MaxPax, keeping himself alive in a game which he had very little right to be alive in, because he was just in a horrible, horrible spot, but he's absolutely improving and putting himself in, like I say, a position that could maybe get the job done at some stage here. A couple of extra Zealots will go down. Just away towards the tail end of that. 13 SCVs just dropped, so Clem is actually significantly behind on workers now, and I feel like that's not happened before. I don't think he's been significantly behind on workers. Io back over to the left, and just going to be seeing these few Zealots moving up over in this direction. Going to start charging in, but Io and Ghost will be there to turn those Zealots around. Widowmine shot not quite going to land. So that doesn't go off, and just going to be seeing. Otherwise, the army of MaxPax still sat out in the center. We'll get rid of one man. We'll look for number 2. He will get it. The Bio army continues in, and MaxPax, well, feels like so much of this series he actually lent on the DTs to really give him a fighting chance. And they kind of did. They gave him the time and the opportunity at least to be here. That EMP hits all of those sentries, by the way, so they are not able to do anything more than that single force field. Here comes another round of Zealots, but bang bang, first 2 Widow Mines are very good. The Stalker and next Zealot go down. That's a complete cleanup from the mines. And one Ghost got like a single of the Zealot kills. There's Super Battery available? Nope, already being used, so it's on cooldown. The Colossus pops out straight to its death. No! Survives. Battery in the back, heals it back up. Clem doesn't quite get the killing blow just yet, but he'll be looking for it now. He does grab the Colossus there as he stims on forward. And the other Zealot, Stalkers, and the Immortals still trying to press on through. That's going to be seeing the Bio army continue to fight, continue to trade. Another couple of Stalkers going down. The sentries will drop, and this is going to be a lot of units from Clem. Still, I mean, he always has had the advantage here. It would be really nice to empower these Robos. He empowers one of the 2. That's good. It just makes it a little bit less splash damage he has to fight against, right? So, any less splash damage you have to deal with, the better. He's actually going to target fight down the Robo now as well. The Colossus pops out, but 2 Vikings are here. The EMP went down immediately, and Colossus doesn't last very long at all. Unfortunately, this was not one of those very cool back and forwards matchups between Clem and MaxPax today. This very much so was Clem taking control of these games. MaxPax doing what he could to scrap around from behind, but Clem just having too much control to actually lose out from his advantage. If only MaxPax wasn't so far behind every time, this might have been a bit more possible. This might have been a bit more playable.